Hello, gentlemen. I have returned to this place once again. I am the woman who has sat and listened to far too many men's stories. Stories that you would never tell to your own wife at home. Stories that you swallow down deep while lying alone on the sofa. And today, I'm going to say something that very few women dare to say. Sex is not a form of male selfishness, gentlemen. Not at all. It is also not some animal instinct that needs to be restrained. For a man, wanting to be close to his wife is one of the noblest things there is. It is how you protect and sustain the very survival of your family. It is how you say, I am still here, and I still love you. If anyone tells you the opposite of this, they are lying to you. They are labeling you as a craving creep, when in reality you are a husband. Today, I am going to restore the dignity of your desire as a man. Sit down and listen carefully to what I'm about to share with you. Modern society keeps repeating the same mantra over and over again. Communication is the key. Communication is the key to a healthy marriage. The experts on Oprah tell you that you need to talk so much more. The self-help books tell you that you must connect emotionally first. But they do not understand one raw biological truth about men. For a man, sex itself is a profound form of communication. Perhaps the deepest form of communication that he actually knows how to use. When you step up close to your wife while she is washing the dishes, that is not a purely physical demand on your part, not even close. That is your way of saying, I need to know you still choose me. That is your way of asking. You still see me, don't you, sweetheart? When she brushes your hand away with, not right now, honey, that is not just a temporary lack of physical sensation on her part. That is a heavy blow landed right against your masculine identity. It crushes the confidence and the self-respect inside of you as a man. Once you can handle, twice you can still handle without any problem. But after 20 years of those hands brushing you away, you break inside. Before we go any deeper, I need to make one important thing very clear. This video is not for abusive men or for men who force their wives. We are not talking about toxic relationships involving coercion of any kind. I am speaking to the decent men out there, the pillars of their families. The men who have worked for 40 years to provide for wife and children. The men quietly fighting to keep the fire burning in their own homes. The men who have never once raised a hand against anyone in their entire lives. Now I am going to lay out 4 raw truths about masculine motivation. 4 truths that very few therapists are willing to say out loud in public. The first truth is the one of a kind engine system inside a man. Your body produces testosterone at 10 to 20 times the rate of a woman's body. This is not a number I invented just to chase views on the internet. This is standard data published by the Endocrine Society of America. This hormone does not simply drive sexual desire inside of you, gentlemen. It drives ambition in your career, protection of loved ones, and the hunger to provide. It is the reason you wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning to head to work. It is the reason you fix that old bicycle for your daughter on Saturday. It is the reason you sit down and calculate retirement savings for the 2 of you. You cannot separate the husband who wants closeness with his wife at night from the man who carries the entire weight of his family during the day. They are one unified system that simply cannot be split apart, ever. When you shut down one piece, the rest of it slowly shuts down right behind it. This is why so many men, after the age of 50, lose all of their drive. They stop trying at home, and then they stop trying at the office too. The second truth is the nervous system self-regulation mechanism. After a long 12-hour day filled with pressure at the workplace, after a tense meeting with that difficult boss at 4 in the afternoon, after 20 minutes stuck in traffic on the highway driving home, sex is the way your sympathetic nervous system regulates itself naturally. It activates the parasympathetic system, bringing your body back to a state of rest. It is the shortest path for you to find inner peace inside yourself again. It helps release the cortisol that has been building up in your body all day long. It helps you sleep deeply and helps your heart and blood vessels stay healthy. When your wife says, "Not tonight, honey," for the 100th time, she is slamming shut the recovery door of your entire nervous system. She does not realize what she is doing, but the impact is very real. The third truth is the most vulnerable disclosure that a man ever makes. American men are taught to be hard and tough, like an oak tree standing firm. Do not cry, do not complain, do not apologize, and do not show weakness. But there is one moment when a man simply cannot pretend to be strong anymore. That is the moment he reaches over for his wife in the middle of the night. He is offering up his heart in search of validation from his partner. He is saying, "I need you," without using a single spoken word out loud. He needs to know he still has appeal in the eyes of his longtime spouse. He needs to know that gray hair and a bigger belly have not made him unattractive. A cold shrug from her in that moment is like the blade of a sharp knife. It cuts deep into a place that no medicine in the world can ever heal. Women often do not understand because they express vulnerability in different ways. They cry, they share, they call their sisters and girlfriends to vent over the phone. Men do not have that language, gentlemen. Men only have this one way left. And when this one way gets rejected, a man has no other path left to take. The fourth truth is the fuel of devotion inside the family system. A man who feels truly desired by his wife behaves like a completely different person. He is willing to move mountains and drain oceans for the woman he loves. He fixes the roof in the middle of a 104-degree summer afternoon, which is about 40 degrees Celsius, without one word of complaint. He picks up extra shifts on the weekend just to buy a gift for his wife. He treats his mother-in-law with more kindness than he shows his own mother. Physical intimacy with a wife is not a reward for doing household chores. I am going to say this again to be very clear. It is not a reward. It is actually the fuel that makes him want to do so much more for her. When the car runs out of gas, you cannot drive anywhere at all, right? A man without desire is like a car running on a completely empty tank. Now I need to bring you into the science behind everything I am saying. Let us first talk about the dopamine system inside the male brain. When testosterone binds to androgen receptors in the reward centers of the brain, it triggers the production of dopamine, the chemical that creates your drive for life. Research from the National Institutes of Health has confirmed this finding clearly. Without sexual connection, the male brain falls into a state of stagnation. You lose direction. You feel useless inside your very own home. You sit on the sofa, staring at the television, not remembering what you just watched. You open the refrigerator 3 times a night, even though you are not really hungry. These are signs that your brain is severely depleted of dopamine, gentlemen. Next comes the challenge hypothesis from the field of behavioral biology. This theory was developed by biologist John Wingfield back in the 1980s. Testosterone drives a man to maintain and protect his long-term partnership, but it needs fuel, and that fuel is positive feedback coming from the wife. A smile, a touch of the hand, a hungry look across the table in the morning. These are the responses that keep your internal system functioning well over time. But what happens if there is zero feedback for many years in a row? Testosterone starts to convert into suppression and chronic cortisol inside your blood. You start getting short-tempered with the kids without understanding why anymore. You pull back, you grow distant, you become a shadow inside your own house. This is not your natural personality, gentlemen. This is biochemistry at work. Now I have to address the most painful awakening point of all. Constant rejection over many years does not just make you sad inside. It causes the masculine identity within you to slowly disappear altogether. You begin to retreat emotionally. The English phrase for this is checking out. You stop giving flowers on anniversaries because you fear being looked down upon. You stop saying, "I love you," because you fear not hearing it said back. You stop suggesting vacations because you fear getting rejected one more time. You stop all romance because every attempt at romance has wounded you deeply. When the feeling of being needed, the hero instinct, is completely extinguished, you are no longer yourself inside the walls of your own home anymore. You are like a stranger who simply pays the monthly bills around the place. You sleep in the living room 2 or 3 nights a week, and she does not even ask. You eat dinner alone because she already ate out with her girlfriends earlier. You take a vacation by yourself because she already went with her cousins. And one day you look in the mirror and do not recognize the man staring back. So what should we actually do now to take ourselves back, gentlemen? The first thing is to stop begging in order to receive physical closeness. Begging only makes you less attractive in her eyes, much less attractive. Every plea is one more stone pulling you down toward the deeper end. Every bit of pleading is one more confirmation that you do not feel worthy. You cannot force anyone to desire you. That is simply not possible at all. But you absolutely can become a more desirable version of yourself again. Come back to running your own life first, before you start worrying about your wife. Your self-respect should not be sitting in the hands of any other person, not even the woman who has been sleeping beside you for the last 30 years. Now I will give you 3 practical steps to put into action this very week. Step 1 is to evaluate the truth honestly and with real courage inside. Sit down with a cup of coffee, no television running, no phone in your hand. Honestly ask yourself, does my wife actually feel that I desire her as a person? Or are you simply treating her as a tool for releasing your built-up tension? Do you look into her eyes when you reach over and touch her body? Do you tell her what it is about her that makes her so beautiful? Do you know 3 things she loves about her own body? Just 3. A woman only opens up when she feels she is truly cherished as a whole person. Not used, but cherished down to every small and meaningful detail. This question is hard, but you must answer it honestly with yourself. Step 2 is to set up a routine maintenance schedule for the marriage. Stop waiting until you feel in the mood before reaching out to your wife. Stop waiting until she feels in the mood, because that moment will never come. Treat sexual connection like the maintenance of a very valuable car you own. If you own a '69 Mustang, you do not wait for it to break down to fix it. You change the oil every 3,000 miles, which is about 4,800 kilometers, and you check the brakes every 6 months without fail. A marriage works exactly the same way. There is no difference whatsoever. Without regular maintenance, the engine rusts and breaks down completely. Set one fixed evening every single week reserved only for the 2 of you. No television, no phones, no children, no evening news cycle running in the background. She may push back at first, but stay firm and consistent with this commitment. Step 3 is to communicate outside the bedroom before communicating inside it. This is the step that 90% of American men skip entirely, gentlemen. Practice low-pressure daily conversations with her every single day at home. Ask her about her day, and listen for real, not pretending while scrolling. Put the phone down, turn the television off, look into her eyes when she speaks. Listen without aiming for sex as your immediate end goal of the conversation. Listen because you genuinely care about the human being living inside of her. Build emotional safety first, before you ever think about physical touch. For a woman, emotional safety is the doorway leading into the bedroom. Without that doorway open, no key in the world can unlock anything. If you are tired of feeling like an extra person inside your own home, if you are sick of sleeping back to back for years on end with your wife, if you are brave enough to admit that you are hurting deeply on the inside, hit the subscribe button and join our community of men right here. This is the place where strong men find their way back to themselves again. This is a place with no judgment, only deep and genuine understanding. We rely on science to rebuild lasting and sustainable happiness in marriage, not on the empty slogans coming from the experts on daytime television. Do not let your masculine identity slowly die in this frightening silence. Do not let 20 more years pass before you look back with endless regret. Finally, I want you to do one small thing for me right now. Close your eyes for 10 seconds and travel backwards through time in your mind. Go back to the early years of marriage between you and your wife. When she looked at you with that gaze you could never possibly forget. When she touched you not out of duty, but out of pure, real desire. When you walked through the front door and she ran to greet you right there. Do you still remember that feeling? The feeling of being truly desired by her? The feeling of being the most important man in the entire world to someone? And now, open your eyes and answer one honest question for me, gentlemen. The last time you genuinely felt like a man who was desired, who was seen, who was chosen, who was almost worshipped inside the very house you had poured your sweat and blood into building from the ground up. How many years ago was that exactly? And can you even still remember the face of the man who stared back at you from the bathroom mirror on the morning after that night?